When it came to the launch titles on Nintendo Switch 2, the one that I was expecting the least from was Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. But I decided to give it a fair shot, and what did I think about it? Did I think it was worth the $10? Was it not? Let's find out. These are my first impressions of Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it and subscribe to the channel as it helps me out a ton. We're so close to 5,000 subscribers on the channel, we're just under 500 away. So again, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel as it helps me reach this goal. While you're at it, if you want to talk to me and others about all things Nintendo, consider joining the Discord server. The link is down in the description. Now, let's talk about Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. When it came to the reveal of this game, I kind of looked at it as a glorified manual. I didn't expect much from this game. It really did just look like that it was going to be a manual for the Switch 2 and that it should have just been a packet title. And while I do still hold that opinion, this game honestly kind of surprised me. You might be like, how does a game surprise you? But like I said, I had really low expectations for this game. I did not expect much from it at all. I only really expected it to be just a, as I said, manual for the Switch 2. But it presents itself as kind of a museum of the Switch 2 and all of its accessories, at least most of its accessories like the wheel, the camera, stuff like that. And while I haven't gotten to the point in this game where I got to those accessories and have only done the left Joy-Con and the screen part, it was still kind of cool to see the inner workings of this console and just how it works in a Nintendo way, because like I said, it kind of presents itself as a museum. You have little mini games that you're able to do. You have little quizzes in there, which are kind of fine. They do their job. They kind of test you to see if you remember specific parts. And I mean, they're not the most interesting things, but they're kind of cool nonetheless because it gives you information on the Switch 2. But then there's also tech demos in there, and I think those are the standouts of this game. I think the one that I liked the most out of all of them was the Mario Bros. Or the Super Mario Bros. In 4K one, where you see how big the screen of the Nintendo Switch 2 is when compared to the NES, and honestly, that was just kind of cool to see that comparison. Because Super Mario Bros. Is such a small game, at least pixel size, like the ratio and stuff, when compared to the Switch 2 screen. If you haven't seen any video on it, I'm sure I have it on screen right now, but it's pretty insane just how small it is, because it plays it in real time as if it were on the NES, so it only takes up a tiny little portion of the screen, and honestly, it was kind of crazy. The other tech demos were fine enough as well. Like, there's like one where it shows off HDR with fireworks and stuff, where they use the Joy-Cons as maracas to show off the HD rumble too. Again, it is pretty cool to be able to see what this console has to offer in terms of, like, you know, the HDR. There's also like a mini game that showed off the frame rates and how you could identify the different frame rates and stuff. That was kind of cool. But as I mentioned, at the end of the day though, this is kind of just a manual, I guess, or just kind of a glorified breakdown or overview of what the Nintendo Switch 2 is. And honestly, for what it is, I think that this game is a pretty good game. I'm not going to say that it's a great game on its own. I'm more so saying though that it's a good game for what it seeks out to do. It doesn't do more than what you expect it to do, and I guess that can be kind of disappointing depending on how you look at it. All around though, I think it's a pretty neat game. I think that when it comes to Nintendo launch titles for systems, like the pack-in kind of titles, so like Wii Sports, Nintendo Land, 1-2 Switch, and obviously this game now, I think that obviously Wii Sports and Nintendo Land cannot be topped. They're great. But I think that this is along the same lines as 1-2 Switch, where it's going to be one of those things where you touch it when you first get your console and never again. But thankfully, it doesn't have the price tag of $50, so, you know, it's only $10. It's not a huge investment to go try this game out. I think that if you have the $10 to spend it, you don't have anything else you want to spend it on, Welcome Tour would be a neat enough game to try out. Like, it really isn't, like, super special. It's not the most mind-blowing game, but as I said already many times, for what it does, I think it does a good job at showing you the console in a pretty fun and Nintendo-like way, which, you know, I'm not complaining about. It's cool to be able to see more about the console because the Switch 2 doesn't have a lot of difference from Nintendo Switch, or at least you wouldn't think so, but when you go into Welcome Tour and you actually go in and play and read everything and see how different it is really from the base Nintendo Switch, you really get a better grasp at just how much more powerful and just how different this console is, despite being just an upgraded Switch. But yeah, my first impressions on Welcome Tour, to just kind of round up here, is it has some pretty fun mini games and tech demos in there. The quizzes are, you know, they're fine. They kind of just tell you about the console and quiz you on your knowledge of the console based on what you've read. So, you know, just kind of how a normal quiz would be. And yeah, I think that for a $10 game, this is probably a pretty good package. Again, since it is $10, don't go in expecting this grand, over-the-top game. You're paying $10 for this. It's going to be one of those smaller types of games that you get on the eShop. And for that, I think that this is worthy enough of that purchase. But what do you think? Have you tried Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you in between? Let me know down in the comments, and I guess just give me your first impressions on the game as well if you tested it out. With that being said though, that's all I have for this one, but if you want to see another video by me, there's a video on screen now where I go over my first thoughts on Mario Kart World, and I think you'll enjoy that one. With that being said though, I'm the biggest nub on YouTube, Cristiano signing off, and as always, goodbye, Nub Nation.